America has a big problem in that too many people are getting fat. In fact, nearly a third of all adults in the U.S. are considered overweight, according to the Atlanta, Georgia-based Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Experts say part of the problem is that Americans not only don't eat healthy foods, but eat too much and enjoy huge portions of everything, from French fries to sodas. Another problem is Americans simply don't get enough exercise. It may be because it's not always easy to find a good place to work out. But it also might have to do with America's large size, which means that Americans need their cars and love them, perhaps too much. America's long-time love affair with the car started when people celebrated the end of World War II by buying more than 21.4 million cars between 1946 and 1950. Cars became a symbol of independence and freedom, and people quickly chose them over public transportation to go anywhere and everywhere. We are a nation that's basically automobile dependent, says Madeline Fernstrom, director of the University of Pittsburgh's Weight Management Center, pointing out that there just aren't enough places to walk. So, to crush America's growing weight problem, experts say better planning of cities is needed. More concern over people's health must be taken into consideration when architects design a new office, park, or shopping mall. But, says Fernstrom, city planners don't think of it as important. It's just not on the radar screen. It's not seen as an issue, she adds. When we design new areas, we have to make sure there are places to walk, places for children to play. Some health experts say that weight-related diseases, such as heart problems, certain cancers, and diabetes, could be cut by nearly a third if people got more exercise. Walking, for example, is an easy way to help people stay in shape. The experts suggest a 30-minute walk, at least 5 days a week, will help keep the pounds off. But again, walking is something that is sometimes difficult to do because of the way cities and communities are designed. Perhaps a family lives on one side of a shopping mall, and yet the roads leading to the stores do not have sidewalks, forcing them to drive. Sometimes fences may also block the way. We've created an irrational approach to using our land that requires us to use our cars, says Lawrence D. Frank, an associate professor of community and regional planning at the University of British Columbia. That means there is usually a cold start of the car, which pollutes the air, to go just a short distance. Researchers at the Georgia Institute of Technology took a survey on the driving habits of over 10,000 residents of Atlanta, Georgia. They discovered that for every 30 minutes that a person spent in a car, they had a 3% chance of gaining weight. Most people who took the survey said they spent more than an hour a day in their cars. Public transportation may be the solution to the car problem, says Frank, but, he admits, it's going to be very difficult for most people to change. The researchers also found that people who lived in neighborhoods where they could easily walk to local shops or businesses were 7% less likely to be overweight than those living in suburban areas. Tripling the number of shops and other businesses near homes could possibly have the same effect on overweight people as making everyone in Atlanta look 5 years younger, suggested the researchers. A similar study by University of Maryland researchers found that urban sprawl, a slang term which refers to how cities are rapidly growing without any planning or concern, has prevented people from being able to ride a bike or even take a daily walk. Says Frank, we have to start providing retail locations closer to where people live and a connected street network that allows us to walk for non-work purposes. In Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, where Frank lives, there are many public parks, such as the 4,040-hectare, 404,000 square meter, Stanley Park, which are easily accessible and great places for people to enjoy some contact with nature and get their daily exercise. And while some American cities have excellent parks with plenty of walking paths, such as Central Park in New York City, they aren't necessarily great places to be after dark. Says Fernstrom, it's time sensitive. When the sun goes down, you have to stay out of there. It really is a risk. Other areas have recycled transportation modes of the past. The Rails to Trails project, which is popular across America, takes old, unused railroad tracks and converts them into great paths for walking, running, or bike riding. Can exercise help? Hopefully it will, since being overweight has now become a global issue. Of course, in countries like Japan, where the diet is not entirely westernized, there is a slight increase in people's weight, but it's not like America, where, she points out, the weight levels are rising faster than any place else in the world.